Is it possible to set a top 1% lap at Spa with a controller? Today we're finding out on F1 25. As you can see, the time to beat is a 1:42.130 by Carpotter 13. As you can see, we are on the beautiful track in Belgium, Spa. I love driving this track. We're on board for my first lap. My first lap I am doing with the default setup, so it's not going to be great, but it's going to be a nice starting point to see how much we can improve in this video. Of course, it's a very long track, so I'm hoping to not take too long, you know. But yeah, we're starting off with the default setting. Going up to the first really sequence of corners is the second sector, of course. As I said, I do like driving this track a lot. I don't know, I think I'm alright at this track. This is one of my better tracks. But unfortunately there hasn't been that many league races around here. I don't know if that's because of glitches. At the start I was really struggling with the curbs around this track. But now that I've gotten more used to this game, I'm actually not struggling too much with it anymore. Here you can see at the end of the second sector we're taking it quite cautiously, but we're gonna go through the gravel, unfortunately. So this is definitely not a great lap, but at least we're valid. At least we're trying to, you know, at least we're getting a lap in. At the second sector split, we're already 1.9 seconds away from Carpotter 13. So yeah, we go really deep in the last sector, but crossing the line, how far away are we gonna be? It's gonna be a 44.6. Incredible, guys. 50,000 spot, and we are even with that lap in the top 22% of the world. Now onto a setup we go, and straight away in the first corner we managed to find almost a 10th. Then through Aarava and Radion, not much differences, and we gain some on the straight. But then into this sector it's going to be a much more aggressive setup, of course. So we're throwing the car in, using as much track as we can. Actually a little bit getting used to the world record setup from the default setup. Is two opposites pretty much. From really too stable to maybe a little bit too aggressive, but nice and on the edge. So we're back to 3.5 tenths. We managed to get it up to almost 5 tenths there, and actually because we went into the gravel, of course, we're gonna go 1.4 seconds already up. Now we're only half a second away of Carpotter 13, so we're getting closer. Let's see what we do in this last sector. It was also a really bad last sector in my previous lap. I'm gonna brake at the 100 meter, then get over these curbs. You can see we take it a lot safer and nicer. We're gonna cross the line and it's gonna be a 42.778, putting us in the top 10,000 of the world. Incredible, and in the top 4%. Now that we've warmed up a tiny bit, hopefully we can actually get a good lap in here. You can see how important it is to start your lap opening up the corner, because we already gained a quarter of a tenth. And then in the first corner we gained some more time, but unfortunately we do not really get Aarava and Radion nicely. So we're not that much up by our time, but it's 7 mid. First sector here, we cut the corners nicely. You want to cut both of them as much as you can and get on the power there. As you can see, now we are half a second up after that first couple of corners. And then into no name, which is lovely if you get it right. And we're gonna get it right later in the video, but just not yet, as you could see there. But still, we are almost 4 tenths up. Now, as you can see, you want to start on that curb, throw the car in. Really important to use all of the track that is available to you without losing time because of losing traction or anything like that. And we're 4 tenths up going into the last sector here, which is a lot of long straight, which is all flat out, of course. Just important to scrub off at the least amount of speed possible. Coming to the line, not much of an improvement for the rest of the lap, but it's a top 2% now. So we're already itching closer, and we're already after lap 3 in the top 2%. So can we get the top 1% within 10 laps? Surely we should be able to, right? Let's see if we actually can. Here we go, really deep. trying to get a little bit more aggressive now, because we know that to get the time you just have to, you know, be faster. And to be faster, just racing really cool and slow is of course not fast. So we're gonna be a little bit more aggressive, trying to find the limit. And here you can see into No Name. This time it's a lot better, and we get on the power nicely and gains us 3/10 there. So that's already into the 41s if we can get the rest of the lap right. Unfortunately, we go a little bit deep there, not hitting the apex. And then into this right and left S section, we do not get as close to the curbs as you want. So unfortunately, we lose some time there, as we are still 2/10 up, so only through the last sector. The sector split is finally below the 14s. And let's see what we can do in this last corner. Can we hook it up? Only 2/10 down, braking on the curb, and then we cut the corner nicely. And the second left-hander, yeah, you don't really, I still don't know if you exactly want to cut it completely, but there you go. We have actually,
What the hell?
I almost missed it. We improved our time, but we did at the exact same time as the time we should beat. So we did exactly the top 1% lap. Yeah, and of course we're not gonna keep it at that. I actually oh, my commentary is horrible, but yeah, I was kind of confused because I saw in the top left that nothing really happened. Afterwards we started to struggle a little bit more, as you can see, a little bit more struggles in validations and going wide, as I said, trying to find the limit. Yeah, but we did exactly the same time. I'm still a little bit baffled by that, but such a long track and we still did the exact same time that we're trying to beat. But it's not over. Let's keep going. Here you can see we're gonna do a really nice first sector. You wanna cut both of those corners as much as you can. And here you can see we're gonna do a 0.6 in the first sector, which is really good. Cutting the corners there, just about keeping it within the track limits. Losing the rear on the exit. Unfortunately, we lost all the time we gained in the first sector. Throwing it in here, can we still keep the momentum and keep the speed up, because I want to keep the lap. With that great first sector, we get a really nice exit into No Name again. So we're up on our time, and into pull on we go. We keep it quite alright. Could have been a little bit faster, but it's fine. Then into these right and left. We want to get close to the curbs, as I said. Can we still hook it up? It's a nice exit. Throwing the car in this right-hander. And we're gonna lose. We lost a little bit of time there, but we're still up by almost a 10th. And can we now finally get in well into that top 1%? Let's see if we can hook this last corner up. Throwing the car in. Trail braking nicely and then getting on the power, not losing the rear there. It's actually a nice last couple of corners, and we get into the top 1%. But we're not done yet. Of course we're gonna try and get into the 0.5%. We're not done yet. It's a 41.851 is the time that we need to beat here, which is another 2/10, I think. I kind of missed what the lap time was there. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, we're gonna move on to lap 7 here and try to gain the time, because there was still time in the lap, and of course we need to make it a little bit harder for ourselves, because we're already after lap 7 in the top 1%. Now it's time to get into the top 0.5%. Again, struggling a little bit more, because yeah, you know, it wouldn't be real for me to not show only what goes right. So here we're struggling, and at a certain point I always start to mess with the setup, feeling that it's a little bit too oversteery or something, and then I try to tone it down or do something else, and usually it just doesn't really work that much, and maybe only one thing then works. So I do a lot of laps that don't work, but here you can see we're on a very good lap. 2/10 we are up, going into the S section here of the lap. Getting close to the curbs, actually really nice, but we're gonna go a little bit wide. And unfortunately invalidating. I think that would have been enough if we just kept it together. Here I was talking about the first sector, very important to open up the corner when going in, and then into turn 1. Want to brake at the 100, brake, actually turn in as late as you can, so you can get the best exit here on the second gear. We get a really nice exit, using all of the track on the exit as well. As I said, the previous sector 1 was already good. Here you want to keep it, minimal steering, cut as much of the corners. We actually lost half a tenth there, because we didn't cut Aarava and Rally on the right way. That's actually insane in the flat out corners, but just shows how important it is to keep it together. Then to the right and the left, throwing the car in. We keep it in 5th, might want to keep it in 4th there, but we get a really nice exit there into the downhill right hand here. Throwing the car in, never 100% braking, and then to No Name, throwing the car in. Really important, this exit, actually more important than you might think. And it gains you a lot of time here. We lose a little bit of time. We get close to the apex into pull on, but not much time gained, but we're still up on our time. So let's see if we can keep it together. We're going to 4th gear. We actually take the curb here, and maybe you don't want to take the curb, but we're still up by our time. So definitely in this right hander you do want to take a tiny bit of curb, but we still get the exit absolutely spot on. So we're 1.3 tenths up on our time into the last corner, the bus section. Can we keep it together? It's so easy to mess it up, as you know that you're up by so much. You want to brake at the 100 meter board, throw the car in, keep it in 3rd gear. We actually lose the rear there a little bit, but luckily we do not lose time. We actually gained a tiny bit of time, and we're gonna cross the line. It's unfortunately just a little bit short of the top 0.5%. So unfortunately we're not done yet. Unfortunately we could have finished this challenge within 10 laps, which would have been the fastest out of any track so far. Unfortunately we didn't, so we're gonna have to keep going. Here we were up by so much time, and this is what I was talking about. You still have to hook it up. This would have been like a 0.6 or 0.7. So the time is definitely in the lap, but it's just about hooking it up together, as it's a long track, many corners, many places to mess up. Now this is, I think, gonna be a really good first sector. Getting on the power nicely into 2nd gear, actually up by 200s there. Sorry, I had to think there. And then into Aarava and Rally on, this is what you want to do. Keep it minimal steering lock. Could have cut the corner actually a little bit more there. And high speed, and we're gonna do a 0.6 again. Throwing the car in, we still keep it in 5th gear, but we get on the power. All right, the exit could have been better into this right hand section. Don't go onto the power too early, and then as you can just see, we use all of the track tools available. Really nice exit to No Name. I think No Name is definitely my favorite corner out of this track, but unfortunately we're up by our time. But we mess up into Puon, which is one of the more annoying corners to mess up, because it's just a flat out, and you know that, yeah, it's just a pretty easy corner. Again, we mess up a little bit, and now we're on to lap 17. Up on our time, as you can see on the top right. But we still need to keep it together into the last sector, bus section. We go a little bit, take it a little bit too tight, but you can see how much you can actually cut off the corner there. I notice every time that I just kept my wheel as close possible to the red bollard, what do you call it? The red to the side of the curb, then that would often be the best possible. But now we're gonna go on to lap 26. And this is gonna be my best lap of the day. So we're gonna go on to turn 1. It's actually not my best first sector ever. But yeah, that's what happens in your best lap on Belgium. It's never gonna be a complete perfect lap. Into Aarava, you can see here, cutting the corners decently. It's not perfect. So we're actually down on our time. It's gonna be a high 0.7. We have done high 0.6s before, so really not that happy with the first sector, but we're gonna throw it in this time in 4th gear, lifting up a little bit, but getting the exit really nice there into this downhill section. As I said, we're going to 3rd gear, wait for the power a little bit, and then get on the power straight away, 5th gear, just a little bit lift and then get on the power as well. Really nice, carried the speed through No Name, and we're now up on our time. Cool on the left-hander. We missed the apex by a little bit, so we're gonna lose a little bit again. But into the S section, want to throw the car in, keep the minimum speed high, and then into 5th gear, small lift for the left-hander because we just didn't hook it up completely. And then into this right-hander, still so much time, but we gain half a tenth there. It's a 13.7 high sector split. And now into the bus section, of course, as I said, easy to mess up. We have done it before, but hopefully this time we can do it right. We do not need a lot for this last sector to be going right. We're gonna go to the right and then to the left, just as I said, get close to the red bollards and cross the line with a 41.8 low. And yeah, it's a top 1000. I'm actually not that happy with the lap, but it's a top 0.5%, you know. If you guys enjoyed, I tried to get into the 0.5% on Monza. The video is in your screen right now. Go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.